Regardless of all the advancements in artificial intelligence, I am not worried about AI replacing human artists. What I am worried about is who owns the data, who owns the tools, and who gets paid. My goal is not to hype you up and say adapt or die. My goal is to make you feel calmer, more clear-headed, and honestly, more stubborn about staying in the game as a human artist. I'm an artist on the internet, so of course I've seen this all unfold in real time. When I saw my first AI-generated art on Instagram in 2022, it felt really new and weird and exciting. And so fast forward to now, and most AI-generated images feel like a more dramatic version of stock photos. Glossy, polished, and sometimes beautiful. But after you've seen about 100 of them, you start to see a pattern. The same kinds of faces, the same lighting, and then my brain just goes, oh, that's AI. And it scrolls past. But what really changed for me was understanding what was happening under the hood. Modern AI image generation tools like DALL-E, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion are basically pattern machines that are trained with huge amounts of images and text pairs, like an image of a cat and the words fluffy orange cat, or fan art of a character and that character's name. Over time, it learns statistical relationships between words and visual patterns. So when you type in a prompt like watercolor illustration of a cozy bookstore at night, warm lights, soft rain, the model isn't imagining a bookstore. It starts from a random noise and iteratively reshapes that noise into something that fits the terms bookstore, watercolor, warm lights, and soft rain, and so on. It is very sophisticated autocomplete for pixels. And here's an important detail. Those training images largely come from the internet. Portfolio sites, social media, stock image sites, art forums. And historically, a lot of that data was scraped from the internet without the artist's knowledge or consent. What really keeps me up at night are big tech companies treating artists' work as free fuel. Their models have been trained on copyrighted illustrations or concept art, photography that people were paid to create, and personal work posted by indie artists and Etsy sellers. And then those same companies sell access to those models as a product. So the output is something that leans heavily into that artist's visual language, but that money goes to the platform and not the artist. Legally, different countries are trying to figure out what to do with this, because ethically, it's not great. The issue isn't AI is evil. The issue is who owns the data set, who has the power, and who gets compensated. So if you feel angry in seeing your style pop up in AI prompts, that's not you being dramatic. That is you correctly recognizing that there is an extraction problem. So on a technical level, AI art is remixing patterns that it's seen from a huge data set of work, guided by your text prompt, and optimized to look plausible and impressive based on its training. And that's why it's so good at making an image for a text prompt like epic concept art of a castle at sunrise, and so bad at making this oddly specific half-formed idea in my head that doesn't quite exist yet. Sometimes I hear people say, well, humans learn from other artists too. How is it different? And yes, we all absorb influences, but there are some huge differences between the way a human looks at art and the way AI looks at art. A human being's dataset isn't just images. It's conversations, memories and smells, mistakes, relationships, physical sensations, and identity, politics, grief, and joy, all slowly simmered into what we would call a taste. AI does not have taste. When you are making a painting or any kind of art, you are deciding what matters. You are deciding what to leave out, what to emphasize, and what you are willing to risk or say. So you're not just pattern matching. You're making meaning. As a human artist, you can get stuck. You can change your mind, make 10 really bad drafts, throw something away, and then come back weeks later for reasons that have nothing to do with optimized output. AI art models don't care about anything. They're not curious. They don't have real preferences. They are trained to do one thing really well, and that is approximating art that already exists. And that's why, to me, AI art images are much closer to stock photography than they are to actual art. And stock photos are really useful. They're great for book covers, blog posts, mood boards, and thumbnails. But nobody goes to a stock photo site to understand what it feels to be human right now. AI art is like stock photos on steroids. Powerful, convenient, but very rarely the thing that changes someone. Should you keep an eye on AI? Yes. Should we keep pushing for better laws around consent and compensation? Absolutely. But should you quit making art because Midjourney can spit out a pretty convincing landscape in 5 seconds? No, don't do it. Here's what I would invite you to do after this video ends. Close YouTube, set a 15-minute timer, and let yourself be bored on purpose. Don't scroll, don't look for more AI discourse. Just sit with your own thoughts and notice what comes up when it's not being hammered with everyone else's input. Your job as an artist is to notice, make connections, and to question things in ways that are not obvious yet. And all of that takes quiet, boredom, and time. Your weird, specific human body of work is something that no AI can replace or recreate. If this video helped you feel a little bit less panicked about AI, please let me know down below, and let me know in the comments, what is one way that you are going to show up for your creative work this year? And if you find yourself doom scrolling AI generated art, I have a video here about the art of Frida Kahlo and why you need to keep making your weird, oddly specific art. Thank you so much for being here, and now make something beautifully human. I will see you in the next one. Bye.